Good afternoon, everyone. It's Roby1, and welcome back to my channel. Mobile Robo, the haggler, the Indiana Jones of rap out here in the field, and I'm at the Ammidown block out here in Southbridge, Mass. Now the Savers Bank, another Mudflood building, and a sequence of Mudflood speculation buildings that are in our town, and the pictures in the history book that I believe are speculative. Now this is one of the pictures. This is looking up Main Street that way, in between the buildings, and this is just a woodcut. And the impression they try to give us is that the wood buildings were built before the bricks, but if the Mudflood buildings were here first, that means the bricks came before the building, and we know the bricks that go back all the way to time of the Egyptians, so bricks were old news at that point. Here's a lithograph picture from 1862. And supposedly all these burnt in a fire in 1862 or 3. Does it say it here somewhere? Yep. This 1860 photograph shows the first commercial district in Southbridge, located on Main Street between what is now Central Street and Foster Street. On the left is Haley's Tavern, built 1810. Next to Haley's Tavern on the right is the first Ammidown block, constructed in 1828. The original town meeting house, built 1797 to 1800, is the next building on the right. Finally, we see the Baptist Church, which was built in 1848. All of these buildings were destroyed in a fire that started at 1:30 a.m. on November 14th, 1863. And there's some numerology for the numerology people. November 14th would be 114. And just to get a little more into the numerology, this particular building, which was only one little part of what's left of the Chester Dress, this hotel, is 270, and 27 is the numerology for ritual. That's just thrown in here, and this is a picture of what this building used to look like, and it's got Mudflood windows on the bottom. But if you look over here, the building goes down a whole story. And just like I say on them other buildings, and this is a pattern and a sequence with these Mudflood buildings, you'll see the back of them are dug out, but not the front. But I guarantee you, dig the front of this building out, them aren't the original foundation blocks. Some of those fudge blocks, I call them, were put in after. Same with that one down there. The original foundation line is below that sidewalk, and I don't even know if that's part of it. But I guarantee you, dig under these sidewalks, the same amount down, you're gonna find old windows that are bricked over. And this other picture they show here of these wooden buildings, this picture could have been anywhere. This could be a Hollywood setup somewhere. They don't show nothing around it. There's pillars though, so it's definitely got a hint of masonry. And I believe all these elitists, especially Ammidown, was definitely a mason. We've seen his tomb in a sequence of graveyard videos of Oak Ridge Cemetery, and I've also done videos on Chester Dresser, the first master mason. But Ammidown, I believe, funded Dresser, and he married Ammidown's daughter, who died at 33. The fire picture on this, there's another page in this book, is on page 33, and I've showed you before in a Chester Dresser video. We'll go to it quick just to prove it to you again. See right here, there's the article on the fire, page 33, and then the George Pompous guy who died. What's it say? It says his name, and it's Sandy Pompous. I found the newspaper articles on this story from the Boston Historical Commission. He died at 33, so it's on page 33. His wife died at 33, and the Pompous guy died at 33. 1871, if you want to go into some numerology. Now this Ammidown name, I've never heard it other than in this town, and within the last 4 or 5 years before that. Does anyone know that anyone with that name? And in the history book, his nicknames were the Ammidowns. And it sounds to me like they were gangsters. They've done this over though, a few years back. Them could be the original corbels painted over. That's what I think them are. And I call them corbels the dragon shadows because when the light hits them at a certain shadow, they look like dragons tucked in up on the edge. And I've said it before in other videos, in the graveyard videos, that the Masons are fallen one wannabes. That's not the original foundation line either. They're making it appear to be that, and not at all, in my opinion. Now over here, Mudflood windows. And I don't believe that's the original foundation. Them are those fudge blocks at the bottom, the gray ones. And then in the middle, it's a nice detail. I almost think some of these pillars represent Melek's head because it almost looks like the shape of some of those Malekian pillars that I see on decks and whatnot. Just another theory of mine. Take a look at the turret. It's up there pretty good. And we'll go to the other side and show you some other Mudflood windows. I didn't realize that's dug out too. So let's take a look at this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is definitely Mudflood. That goes down right there at least 20 inches from what I'm standing on. Oh, and I never noticed this. Am I looking at the way those blocks go in there? Does that look like them were windows at one point? Where under each window there's like a block that represents it, almost if it represented a window, it covered it up. I could be wrong. Alright, I'm gonna move on out to the other side. Take a look at the doors, just see what the architectural structure of these are. Oh yeah. It's got like an upside down cross effect on the middle center part. Something else going on. Some pillory in the middle of that window. I almost wonder if these patterns on the window are some kind of alchemaic message. Just curious. Ooh, there's actually a plaque here, so let's look at it. Site in 1801 of the first meeting house of the village of Pole Parish, which became Southbridge. A church has stood here ever since. Southbridge Historical Society, 1978. More numerology, 19. Well, 18 and 1 is 19, and 17 would be 1978. You could get 3 different numerologies out of that as well. I'm not going to go deep into that. I believe this the library was definitely built after, and I call that a Mudflood wannabe house. They tried to create the same appearance on it. That's not an original Mudflood building, but yet it does have masonic architecture. The little snakehead corbel that's above the door. More Mudflood windows. You see how the gray fudge blocks go around, trying to pose as if that's the original foundation, which I know it's not. And now right here, this right here, I believe them stones are the oldest of stones. That's definitely a cover up too. Them definitely came after the these bricks. They're not the oldest, they came after, and it's a mess. That's why the mortar's just going to crap. The strange shit, flowers or something on that window, stained glass. More pillars within this windows, pillars here, so to speak. And we're going downhill, maybe a 10-degree angle. That window on the end, I bet you was bigger at once, and when they fixed that part, that's the mess they made. Try to make it look like that's the original foundation at the bottom, and it's not. These fudge lentils at the bottom came after. I bet you if you dig underneath this, underneath them lentils, there's more brick below that. comes around. More pillars. So from here, standing where I am to up there is probably a 3-foot difference. Look at that right there. I never noticed that. See another window top, so that means this turret actually went lower too. And then they took some kind of hydraulic cement or something to cover that up as they went around. Oh yeah, there was a whole nother, you can see it. See how right there's the top of that one? There was a whole nother window below this. What a lie they did in history, now that I really look at this building. It's all like having a good time over there. It's got the royalty symbols on that gutter bracket. It's gotta be old. Another pillar. All right, so that's telling us that the bottom of this building is definitely the same height bottom as that building. And these stories that we're seeing in these history books, I think, are cover-ups of this mud flood. There's no doubt about it. The more I dig into this, the more I'm convinced of the mud flood over the true written history. Nothing over here. These were bricked the whole way down and never intended to have a cellar. Ruby 1 on the back side of the Ammidown block. One other little fun fact I learned yesterday is over there in Framingham, there's a lot of white chimneys. I guess they're supposed to represent the Underground Railroad. Back side of the Ammidown block right now, in the Baptist church, in the back side of where Chester Dress's old hotel was burnt. Ruby 1, I'm out, and on to the next video. See you later.